Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome back everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by to check out my latest video. And today I am continuing to work on my journal that I have been working on, and it's kind of a craft with me, start to finish type journal. And I do move around in it. I don't necessarily work from the front to the back or the back to the front. The cover is somewhat done. I will have a playlist available for the series so that you can go back if you are tuning in for the first time. And when I left off the other day when I was recording, there was a couple of things I finished up. And it was, I did sew this in. I sewed around the See the Beauty quote, and then I sewed it to the bottom. So now we have a little tuck spot there. And then the other thing that we were going to work on was in the middle signature here, or the middle. We had glued this together, or ripped it and inked it, and I went ahead and I sewed around it several times. And so we were going to make a little pocket here. And so now I'm ready to glue that down. I'm not quite sure how chatty I'll be today. I really don't have much to share with you guys, you know, when it's, you know, the middle of the winter and you live in the middle of the woods. There really isn't much that goes on. You know, this time of year, like I've told you guys before, I don't really, not really working this time of year. Most of my work is in the summer and spring and summer, and then a little bit into the fall where we do some paperwork. So I have that done, and of course I had an idea in my head what I was going to do on this page, and then I forgot. So yeah, so I have so the tuck spot, and I think, because I had this sitting next to it, I have this really old vintage lace that's gorgeous. I found this at I think this one was a thrift store, or it might have been like an estate sale or a rummage sale. And I think I want to glue this across the bottom of it, right there. And then I was thinking, I have this fun little flower center. I got this from Gisela at Lavis Laces. I was thinking I might just set that right there, maybe put a little bit of this gold thread behind it, I think is what I had in my head. I also kind of played around with maybe putting it up there, but I think I just want it down here. You know, down the road you could always add a sentiment or something up there. So yeah, let's glue this down. I probably should have just I'm thinking I probably should have actually sewed this one on, because it's so delicate. I don't think I can actually glue it on. So maybe I'll put this somewhere else in the journal and come up with plan B. Let me see what other trims I have sitting here on my desk. So yeah, I guess that one won't work. I have this one, which is kind of fancy, that's sitting on my desk right now. And I have this remnant that I obviously use part of it for something, but it's just the edging that's left. I mean, this is kind of cool. You know, maybe I could put that down across the bottom and just to add some interest. You know, I could do it across the whole bottom. Maybe I'll do that across the whole bottom. Make sure I'm still in camera. Maybe over here I can leave this part, because then you have just a slight little tuck spot there. Which would probably be better if I put it the right way here. That might not look, you know, add some interest at any rate. You know, and then maybe I could, no, that doesn't work there either. I do like that idea though, to do that. But then I still feel like I need to put something over this. It just looks kind of plain. I could do that maybe. That looks kind of cute over there though, doesn't it? You know, what if I just do a couple here and then do the rest of them over here? And this one, maybe I'll stop. You know, maybe I'll just do a couple on the bottom here. But I really do like that idea over here with that one. Just a really small, shallow tuck spot. Trying to see if I just add the two. You know, just the two on this bottom part right there. Yeah, maybe I'll do 3 down there. And then we'll still add on this side, kind of carry it out. I'll maybe just cut 4 off just in case I want a little bit more. I'm trying to see if I kind of scrunch it and glue it down, what that would look like. Or just kind of... No, I don't think I'm going to scrunch it. I think... Yeah, I just think the 3 will look nice, so we'll just leave it at that. Cut that piece off. So I probably should use the Fabri-Tac, and of course I forgot to... Yesterday I noticed I had a crack on the cover and I forgot to take care of that after I was done filming yesterday, so I'll try and remember today. I don't know if I will or not. I just get so excited working on this journal, and I'm already, you know, as soon as I'm done recording, I'm already thinking about what I can do or add to it next. And I'm also, if I have a little bit that I say I'm going to sew, usually I do that at the end of the video, so I don't forget that before I come back and start recording again. So yeah, I think that'll work. Just, you know, I just like to add a little more interest to things. So then I have this thread. It's metallic thread, decorative sewing thread, and I think my mom gave it to me. I think she tried to use it in her sewing machine and she didn't like it because it kept untangling up. So we'll just use it for little decorative elements on things. It just adds a little extra color without adding too much bulk. And we'll just put this underneath the flower. I don't know how well that'll show up, but on camera. So I still think I want to put it down here in the corner. So let's do that. Try and bunch it up. I can always cut a little bit more of it off if it's too much. I'd rather start off with too much bunched up at the bottom than not enough. And I'll just try and zoom in real quick so you can kind of see me holding it down there in the corner. I'm just giving it a second to try and adhere before I add the next layer. Of course, now my fingers are going to be all gross. And then we'll just put a little bit of glue on the outside petals so that it sticks. And I don't know if I'll put a center on that one or not. If I find something as we're crafting along, I'll come back to that and add something to the middle. I'm just going to trim a little bit of the little stragglers there. And let's hold it up so you guys can kind of see. I think that's really cute. I like that. And I'm trying to decide if it needs like a little word or something on there. So let's look at these Tim Holtz words again. I've been using these quite a bit. I should dig out, I have some nice ones from like Sam Poole. And I also have some little labels from Tracy Fox too that I should dig out. But since these ones are there, I like that one. That one has a date on it. So let's run with that one. Not think about it too much. Just keep on moving along. I want to get a couple things done on this today with you guys. So, again, I'm just going to ink the edges real quick using my Distress ink in the Vintage Photo color. So that's cute. That'll work. Since I have the Fabri-Tac open, I'll just use that glue. I usually prefer to use the tacky glue, unless I'm gluing down material or lace. I just like to save my more expensive glue for that, but that'll work. So it says May 12th, 1887. So that's cute, and I still think I like this idea because I kind of wanted to just leave this page plain a little bit. Because it's still light enough that you could journal on it if you wanted to. But now that I've seen this on there, I do like that. And it's a nice way to use up this, remnant. Obviously, I must have used the middle part of whatever it was on. I don't think, just the way that it's cut, it almost looked like it maybe came off of a doily or something. I don't remember. So let's see. I'm trying to decide if I try and maybe just go like that on here. This would have been probably a good one to sew down, but we'll just try and glue just the edges down. Maybe I'll glue it and then cut it after I get it glued down. So I'm just going to try and just glue just on the edge right here and just where it's sewed, where they added the crochet on the bottom. We'll just put a little bit down for right now. I think that'll hold it, I think. We'll just glue that to the very bottom of the page. And if I'm not able to tuck anything in it, it'll just be a little decorative element, so no harm done either way. I think I will try and put that little bit on there. It'll be a little gathered there, but that's okay. Just add a little bit extra. And then it'll look nice kind of hanging out the side too of the journal. Just the little, it'll almost look like a little tab when it's closed. So that'll be cute. I like that. So then I still have this if I want to add this on top, and I think I do. I like that. The little rosette trim. So let's add that. This is, I believe, some trim I picked up from Hobby Lobby. I have quite a bit of it in my stash. It was some that I had picked up when it was 75% off. It actually is a row of like 3 rosette trims, and then I just cut it down when I need it. And then usually I have bits and pieces of it floating around my craft room from leftover projects. So again, I just love doing journals like this where you can just use up random things left over from other projects. I did print off a couple of the digitals that I'm using in this journal, but otherwise everything else is just from random bits and pieces in my stash. Oh, that is really cute. I like that. So hopefully there'll be a little bit of a spot to tuck something in there. I'll hold that up so you guys can see it better. Isn't that cute? I like that. All right, and then I had pulled just another random tea-dyed item from my stash. And I was trying to think if I wanted to add, to kind of finish up this page right here, if I wanted something. You know, I don't have a lot of stuff up at the top, so let's glue this one up at the top, just to have a little interest on the top of this page. This is the page opposite my bingo card page. Yeah, let's just put that up there. And this came off of a wedding dress I actually bought. This wedding dress, I think it was the first wedding dress I found at the thrift store when I started, you know, doing this type of craft that I took apart. And at the time I thought it was a good deal. I think I spent $30 on the dress, and I still have a lot of the material left of it, but I just am down to a little bit of the lace that I took off of it and the appliques, but I've used a lot of them. And a while back I had tea-dyed quite a few of them, and so I have just a few pieces left of that. So yeah, I really like that. We're gonna have to start working on ephemera pretty soon. And then there was I have a pile of stuff here of stuff that I wanted to work on, and it looks like I still got time here. The next thing that I noticed in the journal was, okay, the other day we had stamped these, and I love it, but unfortunately this one you can really see through, and that bugs me when that happens. But you can always fix it. You can add pockets over it, you can add a tuck spot over it. But what I decided this time to do, because again I was going through my stash seeing what I had this little ruffle that I made, and I decided that I could add that, just glue that over the spot down here. And then I picked out, I have this little like Battenberg type flower that came off of something, and I was just going to glue that in the middle. Maybe put some eyelash trim, or maybe some eyelash trim and some lace behind it. Let's do that. I'm still trying to use up all these pieces. When I did the journal cover, when I sewed the lace, and I had extra bits that ended up getting snipped off the sides when I was making the cover of the journal. And so I'm just trying to use up as much as I possibly can of that. So yeah, I need some eyelet yarn then, or eyelash yarn. For those of you that are looking for eyelash yarn, usually you can find it at Hobby Lobby. I think they call it Fun Fur. And I find it quite often at the thrift store. Usually there's like in little grab bags or something. I have quite a few colors, but it always seems like I use the the neutral colors, or the ones I use more often. I think I like this end better. So hopefully my scissors, I don't have my material scissors here, so hopefully this cuts that. Maybe I'll just trim a little bit off of this end too. So that'll cover up the fact that you can see through the page, I guess, with the ink that I used. And so let's put a little bit of glue in the middle for the lace. And we'll put a little more glue on top again. Guess that's a little too much eyelash trim. Let's cut that in half. I'm sure we'll find something else in this journal to use the other half. We'll just put that there. And then we'll glue the flower down on top of it. I know I've said before I love making journals like this where you're just using up bits and pieces. I've been paper crafting since I've been 18 years old. I don't know if I've ever talked about that before or not on my channel. I started off as a card maker, rubber stamping, and I still do quite a bit of rubber stamping and card making. And I remember the first time when, YouTube was kind of getting going, and I found, crafters on there, and all of a sudden I found these people that were making journals. And so I was like, these junk journals out of bits and pieces, and I thought, wow, that would be an awesome way for me to use up bits and pieces from my card making where I have scraps left and just, don't know what to do with them. So that's kind of how I got into making junk journals and being part of the YouTube community. And then I decided that I really wanted to get on YouTube and be part of the community, so I figured out how to get a channel name. And then also at that same time, I hadn't been on Facebook. I had kind of been resisting being on Facebook, but then I wanted to join some of the Facebook groups that were showing that, their pictures of their junk journals and stuff. And so that's how I kind of got to be a little bit more on social media. I still, don't do a whole heck of a lot. I do have an Instagram that I'm trying to do, a little bit better about posting stuff every now and again. It's just my problem is I'd rather sit in the craft room and craft than I would, edit videos and post videos and take pictures and post them. So that's probably why, I don't work too hard at it like some of the creators do out there. But I do enjoy showing what I create and enjoy being part of the junk journal community. If you guys have any fun stories about how you started junk journaling, I'd love to hear them. So I'll leave them in the comments and everybody can read them. And so getting back to the project now, I was trying to think of what I had wanted to do. Again, this came from the cover of the journal when I was working on it. And so I still have lots of these pieces. So I'm trying to use a few of them here and there in the journal. We made the paper clip the other day with some of it. But I was thinking maybe I'll add a tab to this and I'll sew that on. So I'm just telling you guys about that. So I am going to sew a tab onto this. I think the top is what I was trying to see, just a little bit right on the edge of this. I think that would look nice. We have a couple things lower down, so we'll put a tab up there. And I'll probably do it on the opposite side too, because I'm not going to do much with this ledger paper other than that. So I'll do that on both sides. I'll put a tab on this side too, on this one. So now I should probably look to see. I guess that one isn't too bad on the back side of there because I had the patterning up there for stamping. Sometimes I'll stamp on the back side then if you can see through it too. But I like what we did there. That's cute. So I'll just leave this hanging in here so that I remember at today's end of the session. I don't think that I'm going to do that now, but let's see what else I can work on. I think I have one more thing set out for us to do, and then I'll call it a day. I want to work on this envelope back here. So we'll just pull the envelope out. And then I think, we're getting down to maybe just a couple more little layering pieces in the journal, or a couple other little embellishments type stuff. And then I think I'm going to start working on ephemera. Sometimes I do ephemera or the pockets in the journal cards as I do each page, but then oftentimes I'll wait till the end. And I know the other day we did this, and we made also some tags, but that's as far as we got, was just gluing on the tissue paper. So eventually we'll get to that one. So I haven't forgot about it. It's just I'm waiting to work on that one. I just want to get my pages decorated first and see how thick it is, so I know how thick I can make my ephemera that I add into it. So so that's what we did on this side, and I haven't done anything here. So I'm thinking maybe here we'll just add some labels or something on the inside, just because I want to leave it. It's in a nice neutral color to be able to add journaling on it, so I could do some stamping. And then again, also they are opened, so we can add a journaling tags or cards inside of them. I'll think about that side. This is the side that I wanted to work on with the window today. So we'll just open it this way. And the first thing I always like to do is, I mean, the inside of this envelope isn't too bad with the stripes on it, but you can see where it's sealed, and I don't like that. And so I always put some sort of paper on the inside of it. And so I have music paper still sitting on my desk, so that's what we're going to glue down on the inside. So I'm just going to kind of see where it ends here. We'll just cut it right there. And you're not going to see the edges, so I don't know that it's worth inking anything. Both sides are kind of have enough music notes. I'm just going to run a little ink over the spot where you can see the window. I just, like I said, when I do window envelopes, I like to have something pretty. When you pull out whatever's in there, I like to have something pretty inside of it. And so I think that's good. I need a little scrap piece of paper or something to put my glue on just in case it seeps out. I think I'm going to use a glue stick if I can find it. Here it is. I do have, if anyone is interested on my channel, and if I'll try to link that below, because I don't know if a lot of people are aware of it, you know how YouTube is with its algorithms and stuff. A while ago, before I got my new craft room, or right before my new craft room, while they were building it, I was working on a envelope series of using window envelopes, and so I will link that below because I have quite a few ideas on how to use window envelopes in junk journals, some different folding techniques and some different ideas. So if you're looking for some different ideas for window envelopes, I would actually recommend watching some of those videos. I think some of them are somewhat new ideas, and some of them are probably ones that other people out there have. You know, it's hard nowadays. I think all of us kind of have some of the same ideas once you start paper crafting. So even though maybe you didn't see the original person's post on something, I don't know that there's really a lot of brand new ideas out there when it comes to how you do stuff. And sometimes I think it's kind of funny. I'll hear people say, oh, it's a brand new idea. And it's like, oh, well, that's been in the rubber stamping world for a long time. You're just incorporating it into a journal or whatever they're working on. So I think that's just kind of funny. But it's, you know, I always think, well, it is a brand new idea to them. So, I mean, technically they are kind of telling the truth. So that works. So now we have something pretty on the inside. Okay, so it looks like, hopefully you guys saw me glue in this. I heard this little squeak, and I was like trying to figure out what it was that I heard in my craft room, and I was talking like, oh, I wonder what it is, and then I realized that my battery or my camera shut off, and it was the squeak from that. So I don't think you guys missed too much. I was just gluing in the inside of this. So hopefully you guys saw that, but I just glued in the music paper on the inside of the envelope. And now I am going to make a piece of ephemera to go into this pocket because I have an idea. And I'm just trying to look here for a couple of things sitting on my desk. So I did find when I was going through stuff that I had, digitals and stuff that I had already printed off. And this is a digital that came from TaylorMade Journals on Etsy. And I had already backed it on some coffee dyed paper, and I must not have used it before on whatever I was going to use it in, but I was thinking it's pretty close to being able to fit inside of this envelope as a journal card. I'll need to add a tab on it. It's a little bit shorter than what I would like, but I think it'll be fine. It's just something I already had ready to go. And so I'll add a tab. So what I'll do for the tab is that one that I'm going to add onto here, I'll just use this same tab and sew it on the top when I do that. So I'll do off camera. But what I wanted to do is actually turn it this way, because I found in my stash this fun picture of a car, and I did sew around it before we started today, just so we could keep on working. And it's kind of a fun picture for me. My grandma passed away a while back, and she had a scrapbook from probably the World War II era, before she was fully married. And anyways, there's lots of pictures in there. My mom took out all the pictures after she passed of family relatives and handed them off to the relatives, like her cousins. If there was pictures of their parents in there, she gave them to them. But there were some random pictures in there, and my mom didn't want them. And like I said, the scrapbook was already kind of, it was falling apart. And so she gave it to me to use in my crafting. And so it was just a picture of a car. My grandma must have been fascinated with it. And so I'm thinking that would be fun to put inside the envelope. And since this was already coffee dyed on the back side, and I didn't really want to sew the picture on here and have it on the back side of that, I thought that I could just sew it on here and rip it off and then glue it back onto that journal card. I'm trying to think if I don't know if this will, I'm gonna look, maybe I need to think this through, that maybe I could just glue this whole thing on. Nah, I'll just continue with my plan that I was just going to rip it and glue it down. Maybe I should have thought about that, because I could have used this as the main part of the journal card too. But we'll just rip it and then re-glue it down. I just have to see where I need to glue it down, and then we'll ink the edges and do some stuff like that. But isn't that kind of cute in there? It makes you want to open it up and see what's in there. So I think if I glue it right where it's at, I'll be good, but I need to ink the edges, so let's do that first, I guess. Ink the edges of this, and then also ink the edges of the journal card, because that one hasn't been inked, it doesn't look like. And this one too, I think I want to rough up the edges a little bit, so we'll do that. Well, I'll ink the edges first. I like doing that first. What's nice about this little digital is, even though it has, some interest on it, it's, like an old receipt or ledger, there's still some spots on there that you can journal, so it'll still work nicely for a journal card on that side. I could have glued it on this side, but I don't want to cover up all that, especially since I, went to the trouble of actually printing it off in my printer. Might as well show it. So yeah, let's finish roughing the edges. I think that was about the spot that it needed to. So that should work, and we'll just glue that down. Then before I do it too tight, before I flatten it, I'm just going to double check that it still works in there. And it does. And sorry about that glare with the envelope. There's just nothing I can do about that. So that's super cute. So I like that. And so then I had a couple things pulled out that I thought to add a little bit more decorative interest to the envelope here, and also this. I don't think I'm going to do anything to that side. I'm just going to leave that. But I was thinking, here I have this little word, a punch out from a scrapbooking paper from a long time ago. I don't know what company it was. Because usually when I have like little words like this left over from other projects, I have a little clear envelope that I've just put sentiments, and I just throw stuff like that in there, and then I just dig through that when I'm looking for something. But you could definitely just stamp something too. I'm thinking that might look kind of cute. You know, through there you could see this word that said memories. Again, this obviously, since it was my grandma's, she obviously had a memory about this car, or she thought it was cool, or she liked it or something. So so it's always kind of fun for me when I can use pictures from her scrapbook in my crafting endeavors. It definitely makes me think of her and wondering, you know, was this someone she knew? Was it a family car? It looks more like maybe possibly a truck, possibly on the backside. I'm not sure. You know, if it was somebody that she was dating, or, you know, I always just kind of wonder little things like that in her scrapbook when I look at pictures. So I think that works. That's really cute. And then I had just a remnant. If on the cover or the inside cover of the journal, I had that pocket that I did, and this came off of that material, or the crochet thread that I had on that pocket on the inside. It was just a remnant piece that was sitting next to my sewing machine. So I'm thinking that might look kind of cute at the bottom. And then I had this little sentiment also that said enjoy the little things, and so I was thinking I would put that there. And then I wasn't sure, I had this little die cut piece too that was in with that word memories. And at first I thought maybe I should put it there, but then that covers the memories. So then I was like, well, do I put it? But I think I'm going to put it there, and then that'll just be kind of a hidden thing, the word memories, because I really like it right there on the envelope. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll just finish this up and call it a day. You know, it's always fun using up those little bits and pieces. Sometimes it gets kind of difficult. I don't know for you guys too, if, you know, when you start working on stuff like this, it's like at some point though, it's like you finally have to throw some things away, even though it's tempting to keep everything, but there's only so much space that eventually you have to say enough is enough. So that's why when I do projects like this, if I'm cutting off little remnant pieces at the end, and if my little extra boxes are full of stuff, I either, and if I want to keep the remnant, I have to pull something else out and throw it, or use it on the project. So I try and use up, you know, some of the bits, but of course I'll have a ton of different little bits sitting on the table after we're done too. And hopefully I'll be able to use some of them up on the tags and different things, and journal cards as we're making stuff. So that works. I don't know if we'll maybe use the tacky glue. I don't know what glue works best on the clear acetate. We'll just try this one. Just see if this holds. So we'll just cover it right there. Make sure I put my cover on my glue today. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm just seeing real quick if I have anything that we can add onto these sides that's sitting on my desk that would work. You know, I probably have some things that we could collage or something. I don't know if there's... I just don't know though, or if I just want to put some lace or something on the bottom of it and just be able to use it for for writing on. Well, I can think about that. I think I'm just going to call this good for today. So we got a couple of things done, and I'm going to go and glue or sew on those couple tabs that we talked about earlier in the video. So again, I just want to thank everybody so much for following along on my little journey of creating this journal with bits and pieces. So until next time, you guys all have a wonderful day and happy crafting.